Hey, what is up, you guys? Quentin loves Trains and Horror Movies 2015, and today we're starting the Silent Night, Deadly Night series with the original that came out in 1984. Silent Night, Deadly Night caused a huge controversy when it first came out, with people so upset about a homicidal Santa Claus that the movie was pulled from theaters a week after its release. For anyone who thinks that people are too sensitive nowadays, you got to remember that in the 80s we had stuff like this Sam Raimi getting charges for the Evil Day. There was much more of a moral panic back then. Watching this movie, it's a little hard to understand the hubbub. Yeah, it's a bloody slasher, and it's definitely on the sleazier side of things. But compared to a lot of slashes from the 80s, it seems pretty par for the course, I guess. People just didn't like the idea of a revered childhood icon becoming a murderer, but maybe because of the controversy, Silent Night, Deadly Night became a cult classic and spawned four sequels, two of which had nothing to do with the original, as well as a 2012 remake, because of course there was one, which I'm not going to be including. As per usual, I'll be covering the entire franchise this month, but since the series is relatively obscure and a lot of the movies are just plain bad, I'll be sprinkling some extra releases in between the sequels as holiday treats. For you, also no complaining about these stocking stuffers. Got it? One last thing, I'll be using the unrated version of this movie for the review because all the additional footage is just extra gore and nudity. The changes aren't significant enough to justify a full-on cut comparison. With that in mind, with let's get to reviewing this movie. In 1971, 5-year-old Billy Chapman and his family go to visit a nursing home in Utah, where his catatonic grandfather stays. When Billy remains alone with him for a few minutes, his grandfather suddenly awakens and tells Billy to fear Santa Claus, as he gives presents only to the children who have been good all year and punishes the ones who have been naughty. No matter how briefly, while driving back, a man dressed in a Santa outfit seemingly has a car trouble, and Billy's Billy's family attention. As they pull over to help the criminal, the Santa-clad criminal shoots the father with a pistol. He forcibly removes the mother, attempts to rape her, and slashes her throat with a switchblade. Billy runs off to hide, leaving his baby brother Ricky in the car. 3 years later, in December 1974, 8-year-old Billy and 4-year-old Ricky are celebrating Christmas in an orphanage run by Mother Superior, a strict disciplinarian who persistently strikes children who misbehave and considers punishments to be a necessary and good thing. Sister Margaret, the only one who sympathizes with the children, tries to help Billy play with the other children, but Billy is constantly subject to Mother Superior's scrutinizing eyes and regularly punished. On Christmas morning, the orphanage invites a man in a Santa Claus suit to visit the children. Billy gets dragged by Mother Superior and he punches the man before fleeing to his room in horror. 10 years later, in the spring of 1984, Billy turns 18 and leaves the orphanage to find a normal life and obtains a job as a stock boy at a local toy store, thanks to Sister Margaret. At the store, he develops a crush on his coworker, Pamela. He has sexual thoughts regarding her, which often interrupted by morbid visions of his parents' murders. On Christmas Eve, the employee who plays the store's Santa Claus has been injured the night before, and as a result, Billy's boss, Mr. Sims, makes him take his place. After the store closes, the staff has a Christmas Eve party. Billy, still dressed in a Santa Claus suit, tries to have a good time at the party, but he keeps having memories of his parents' murders, causing him to feel depressed. At one point, he sees his co-worker Andy making out with Pamela, and they both walk into the back room. Billy walks after them and sees Andy trying to rape Pamela. This finally psychologically triggers his instantaneous. He hangs Andy with a string of Christmas lights and, uttering darkly that punishment is necessary and good, stabs Pamela with a utility knife. A highly intoxicated Mr. Sims goes into the back room to check on the noises he heard. Just when he's about to leave, Billy murders him with a hammer. Billy turns off the store's lights, causing his manager, Miss Randall, to go check out the back room. She screams out at the sight of Mr. Sims's corpse and tries to call police, but Billy cuts the phone line using a double-bit axe, causing her to run and hide. Billy walks around the store trying to find her, and at one point, Miss Randall jumps out and trips Billy, stealing his axe. Before she can escape, Billy shoots and kills her with a bow and arrow. As Sister Margaret discovers the carnage, screams in horror and returns to the orphanage to seek help via telephone. Billy breaks into a nearby house where a young couple named Denise and Tommy are having sex, and a little girl named Cindy is sleeping. Billy then impales Denise on a set of deer antlers and throws Tommy through a window. When this awakens, Billy then confronts her and asks her if she has been nice or naughty. She says she has been nice, and he gives her the utility knife he had used earlier. After this, he witnesses bullies picking on two sledding teenage boys and decapitates one of the bullies with his axe as the other screams in horror. The next morning, the orphanage is secured with Officer Barnes and Captain Richards aided by Sister Margaret, who knows that Billy has committed the murders. The deaf pastor, Father O'Brien, who has dressed in a Santa outfit, is mistakenly shot by Barnes. Upon coming forward, mistaking him to be Billy, Barnes is then axed by Billy while distracted due to his Santa outfit. Billy gains access into the orphanage and confronts Mother Superior, now in a wheelchair. She taunts Billy due to her disbelief in Santa Claus, and just as he prepares to kill her with his axe, Richards appears and shoots him in the back. Much to Sister Margaret's shock, as the dying Billy lies on the ground, he utters to the nearby children, "You're safe now. Santa Claus is gone," before succumbing to his wounds. As the children gather around, Ricky, coldly staring at Mother Superior, utters, "Naughty." That's it. Silent Night, Deadly Night came out in 1984 and only lasted a week in theaters before angry PTA groups got it pulled. And I would also like to give a shout out to Christian Hannah Horror, Nick the Lost River Drive-In, Lee Drumdums, Justin Ryan 1988, Pizzal, Nick's Pushes Horror Channel, Jake Blaster Production, Braden Timmons, Bud from the Halloween Verse, Zach Cece's World, Mike and Jay from We Watched a Movie, and James A. Janice from Dead Meat. Next week, I'll be reviewing Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2. Until next time, I'm Quentin Loves Trains and Horror Movies 2015. Please like, share, subscribe, comment below on what you think. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and support me on Patreon. Thanks, be good people.